comfortable with that. I think it works.
It's easier.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Good. Okay.
Okay. So it's just who we follow.
Yeah, and that should be in here.
So when we come up, where do you want to sit? I prefer to sit over here in case I have to dash out.
Yeah, you need to be down.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain. Got love like a mountain in my soul. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. Got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek for our Advent Sunday service. My name is Don Shaw.
And my name is Danae Legan. Welcome to our service, and guess what this is?
Birthday Sunday.
Birthday Sunday! If it is your birthday, please stand, and then you at home, stand too. Anybody here? Can we sing? Oh, okay, let's hit it.
Oh my goodness.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you.
You know, it's tough having a birthday in December with all the holidays. You got to double those presents, right? Okay, so please join us in turning to the camera and waving to the folks at home. Your presence adds to our spiritual community. Thank you for joining us.
We are super delighted to have Steve Mirabai hosting with us today, accompanied by Melissa on piano and Larry on drums.
Yes.
Stephen Mirabai will be out on the patio after the service. Drop by, say hello, renew your acquaintance, buy some CDs. This morning, Reverend Kristen continues the season of divine light, and today we journey into deep peace. And speaking of deep peace, if you silence your cell phones now, we will have deep peace during our meditation. Spirit can be very playful, and it does like to go into the cell phone during the meditation.
That's true. It's true. First, let's take a moment to be grateful for the land that our center rests on. This is Ohlone, Bay Miwok, and Yukot land, and we honor its ancestry and are grateful for those who came before us. We commit to taking care of these sacred native grounds and Mother Earth.
Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Our vision for the world is, we envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness.
And our mission is who we have come here to be. So let's say this together. We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all. And our core values are love, connection, service, and wisdom.
If you are here for the first time, welcome. feel free to raise your hand so we can acknowledge you and maybe get to know you.
Yay!
Welcome. Thank you for being here with us today. Your presence adds to our service. Please journey to the bookstore after the service for a welcome packet and a free gift. And if you need any assistance doing that, anyone in this room or an usher in particular would be happy to help you with that.
Connection cards are available in the newcomer welcome packets and in the seat pockets in front of you. These are for everyone. With this card, you may submit a prayer request, and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week.
You may also share feedback or request information. Please pass your card in the basket with the offering. For those of you viewing online, connection cards are available on the Watch Live page.
Please consider comfort levels when greeting one another before and after the services with namaste bows, elbow bumps, handshakes.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. And hugs. We welcome you to socialize on the patio after service or visit our bookstore.
Our campus is open for on-site classes and groups. Masks are required indoors at Unity. Please be sure to wear them over the nose and under the chin. Masking outside is optional. We have several reminders and announcements for this week.
Robert Hardy invites you to his Creative Paint Workshop on Saturday, December the 11th. I had a lot of fun when I did that one. If you have no art experience, which I do not, and wonder how to express without limitations, this is for you. All paints, supplies are set up and provided, and the class quickly sells out, so reserve your seat on the website today.
Save the date. Daniel Namad will be here in concert on Sunday, December 19th.
Woohoo! Yeah.
He is really special. Join us for an afternoon of inspiring music with this award-winning New Thought artist. Tickets are available on the website and in the bookstore.
And join us for the winter solstice celebration ritual as we invoke the energy of the owl and honor the magic of the dark and the return of the light. Mark your calendars to join us on the Labyrinth, Friday, December 17th at 6:30 p.m.
Quiz time. How many days until Christmas Eve? 20 days till Christmas Eve. It's hard to believe. Our candlelight service on Christmas Eve, which is really very special, is something we hope you'll come and share with us. We'll have caroling, sacred music, and a creative and metaphysical enactment of the Christmas story. This is also a joy-filled holy night you won't want to miss. So registration, got to emphasize this, registration is required. So please register on the website.
In gratitude for our abundance this year, we have 3 opportunities for holiday giving. Unity is collecting food for the Contra Costa Food Bank, the barrel is right out there, and items for the homeless served by the Monument Crisis Center. We have lists of needed items and receptacles for them in the foyer.
We are also collecting teddy bears for children who are in protective custody. So purchase a teddy bear in the bookstore or online. The bears will be in the sanctuary during our Sunday services, sucking up our love before they are delivered to Children and Family Services in Pleasant Hill.
Sucking up our love, huh?
It's what, soaking, sucking.
Sorry, I just had to comment. See our website for a full listing of all of our events. You know, you have to have fun up here, right? Come on. All of our events in person, online. And if you're not receiving our weekly e-news, use the connection card on the Watch Live page to sign up.
You may want to discuss facilitator faux pas or the Sunday message on Tuesday nights with our Spiritual Growth Circle. It's 7 p.m. It's weekly. It's a really, really good group of people. And right now it is available via Zoom.
Okay, take a breath. Now, as we prepare to light the Advent and Hanukkah candles, please join me in taking a conscious breath. And affirm our statement of faith together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God.
And now we invite Reverend Kristen to the platform.
Well, aren't you two the jolly spirit of Christmas? Thank you. Thank you for bringing joy. So today we have the special opportunity to once again light both the menorah for Hanukkah and the Advent candle of peace for Advent. And we're going to begin with a Hanukkah candle. Mirabai Bangs is with us, of course, today. And it's really special. She brought the menorah that was her mother's, and bringing your heritage to our Unity family as well. We really appreciate you sharing the blessing and the lighting of the candle, Mirabai. And after that is lit, we will invite forward two members of our Earth Care team, Lee Sparling, who heads up the team, and Nancy LaGiacono, to read the Advent message of peace and light the peace candle.
So Hanukkah is the celebration of the infinite eternal flame that sustained us and helped us to realize with unwavering faith that any miracle can happen. This miracle of light glows within us all, opening our hearts with love, gratitude, and illumination. And the prayer for the lighting of the candles is, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Amen. And I'm going to light this, first I'm going to light the candle of the shamus over there. That's the main candle on the top of the menorah. And that's to symbolize the eternal flame that glows in all of us. And then you light the other candles.
When I see or hear unrest in the world, what can I do? I begin the process of peace by honoring the divine nature in every being.
I pray for all in turmoil. I send prayers of peace to all world leaders and to Mother Earth herself. I envision peace among countries and between neighbors, peace on earth.
To change ongoing attitudes toward peace, I must begin with myself. I connect prayerfully with Spirit, and this connection allows me to demonstrate peace in all of my reactions.
Whenever I feel concern, frustration, or anxiety, I pause, take a conscious breath, and remember to honor the divine nature of every being. Doing so puts feet to the words of our beloved peace song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and let it begin with me.
Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. John 14:27.
Now
we light
the Advent candle of peace.
invite you to prepare for a time of meditation by getting comfortable as Heart Dream sings us into some guidance and silence.
Float into your heart, let love be your goal. Find the peace within, melt into your soul. Feel the peace of love, feel the joy of grace, feel God's tender care upon your face. Let the light flow in. Can you feel the glow? From the warmth comes truth. Deep inside you'll know. Feel the peace of love. Feel the joy of grace. Feel God's tender care upon your face. Open to forgive. Spirit's light is pure. Rest your soul in bliss. Divine love's for sure. Feel the peace of love. Feel the joy of grace. Feel God's tender care upon your face. Feel God's tender care upon your face.
So let us take in the words that have just been so beautifully sung and let them sink into our hearts. The intimate connection with the divine that is right here, loving us and holding us. We can rest in those arms, in this energy that permeates the space we are in and every cell of our being. We can let go of any burdens now. Any concerns or busyness in the mind begins to turn toward the peace that is present here. Our minds instantly cleared and illumined by the light of the divine. And throughout our meditation, just like throughout our days, there's a constant opportunity to choose. Shall I allow my mind to rest in the peace? Or take up the potential turmoil of so much thought? So let us choose to rest, at least for now. Letting thoughts settle like snowflakes falling upon the earth. And letting our minds become like a naked tree in the wintertime, ready to receive by day and night the divine light. Let us sink our roots deep into the earth for nourishment at this well of prayer, at this place of peace. Let us enter the silence now. Now drawing this storehouse of peace from below and above and within. Let's send it out into the world, to our neighbors right here at Unity and out beyond our city limits and our county boundaries. Let's send it out into the ocean and across the land in every direction. Seeing peace awakening in the hearts and souls of all people, animals. Seeing the peace in the trees and the plants as they sway in the wind, dance in the light. Our blessings of peace expand throughout this entire planet. And each one awakening now, remembering now, this deep inner peace, this heart of harmony that is beneath all turmoil and conflict and trouble. We see the whole earth from the center of the cooling core, surrounded and infilled with peace. Let's send our blessings beyond Earth out into the cosmos, to other planets, to the stars and the spaces in between. And notice how those twinkling stars of divine light are reflected back to us and us to them. In the depths of the ocean and the depths of our hearts and the depths of the cosmos, there is peace. And so it is.
Feel the peace of love, feel the joy of grace, feel God's tender care upon your face, feel God's tender care upon your face.
Thank you. Heart dream. Well, hello again. Are you having fun? Yeah. Or maybe a better question is, are you feeling the peace? Do you have any symptoms? Does anybody have any symptoms? We're hearing that a lot these days, aren't we? Symptoms. But of course, not in this context. I mean the symptoms of inner peace. An anonymous author explained them this way: a tendency to think and act spontaneously rather than on fears based on past experience. You can just sort of assess where you are with your state of inner peace as I go here. Do you have an unmistakable ability to be present in the moment and enjoy it? Yes, excellent. All right, so far so good. Have you lost interest in judging other people? Have you lost interest in judging yourself, for that matter? Or in needing to be right? Ooh, I heard. Some of them might need some work. If you have inner peace, if you have this thing called inner peace, you'll have an inability to worry. That's a good one, isn't it? An increasing tendency to let things happen rather than to feel that you need to make them happen. And a frequent, overwhelming episodes of appreciation. Frequent acts of smiling. And increased susceptibility to the love extended by others and the uncontrollable urge to extend love to others likewise. So if anyone around you is experiencing these symptoms, it might bring forth that line from When Harry Met Sally, I'll have what they're having. Those of us who have experienced inner peace have also most likely experienced anxiety and fear and turmoil and worry and resistance and the desire to have more control. Anyone? Of any of those? Yeah. Right? This is it, right? This is life. This is the spectrum of life. So this week, I've been on that emotional roller coaster of experience of all of these things as Brenly's mother, Marty, was pretty sick in the hospital. I mean, she's actually had health challenges for quite some time, but this was looking very serious. And it wasn't only the fact that she was having this serious health challenge, but it was the lack of information and the constantly changing information that was really tough to deal with, right? So one day she was going to have surgery, and then later that day they said, well, when she has surgery, they're going to transport her to another city. And then I had already made a flight arrangement, so I was like, should I change cities? You know, so I was trying to figure out on this end what to do. And then the next day, it was that, you know, the surgery was going to be too risky. And then the following day, they were going to do the surgery right there. It's like, which is it, folks? And so it was not only the, you know, holding of the space of her health, but also knowing how, you know, the fragile condition she was in and the fact that the surgery could be really touch and go. So the good news is she had the surgery. She's doing really well. She's recovering. She'll maybe even go home tomorrow. Yes? Thank you so much for your prayers and your well wishes. And it was a process. And so I want to share a little bit of that process because in the midst of the turmoil, there was also peace. You know, in the midst of the not knowing, the uncertainty, the anxiety, the difficulty, the desire to control and to know and to have clarity, right? So action could be taken. But in the midst of that, there were peace-filled prayers. There were moments of reflection and of sharing that was loving and connecting. There was this process of trusting the highest and best good rather than being tied to a very specific outcome. We get so tied to a specific outcome, don't we? Even the folks at Silent Unity were tied. I called them for prayer, and I said, I want to pray for the best and highest good. And the prayer associate continued to pray for her bodily healing. And I thought, interesting. That's not what I asked for, but but we're so wired that way, aren't we? We're so wired. We're so, I think, that's a whole different topic for another day, but there's a great fear of death that we have in our society. And so to be able to open ourselves to the best and highest for a soul is a whole shift, isn't it? And so there was that. There was letting go of attachment. There was letting go and letting God. And then that's when the peace comes. Peace comes when we let go of our agenda and we let the divine order of the universe take over. Peace comes when we trust, when we let go and we let God and we trust the divine timing. And all of that can be very difficult to do, right? So when I couldn't get clear information, I didn't feel very peaceful. And so what I needed to do then was to begin to accept that I wasn't going to know, right? And so in the movement, the choosing of peace, the willingness to accept, more peace came. And I got direct guidance from Marty herself, who said, I'm not dying, don't come. It's like, okay. Very blunt, very clear. Thank you very much. Now somebody has given me some information, right? So, from the source themselves, right? Because we know, right? We know at a soul level and a heart level, we know where we are. We don't always know exactly how things are going to turn out, but there is a deeper knowing, a deeper sense. And so trusting that, allowing that. So once I had that sort of guidance and more alignment with the divine through prayer, I knew exactly what to do. I set up the altar at home with her picture center stage. I called my prayer partners. As I mentioned, I called Silent Unity. I called a second time, too, for that other prayer that I really wanted. and just gave thanks for all of it, right? For all those who were willing to be in holding in that space. And that's what happens when we accept, when we align, and then we can act. Then we know which direction to go with a sense of clarity and confidence and faith. Those are the steps, really, to peace, steps to greater inner peace. And on this journey, because it is a journey, isn't it? I love that Advent is a journey, because it's not like we just go right there and suddenly, poof, we awaken and we're reborn and we're remembering and we're being and embodying that divine truth that we are, that Christ Spirit is reborn in us instantaneously. I mean, it can happen. But most often what happens when we have an instant of enlightenment or an instant of spiritual awakening, it's had a whole backstory of practice, right? And an experience, a foundation has been built. So it may seem like, oop, the switch just got flipped, but the switch got flipped after a lot of cultivation and making of a fertile space for that switch to suddenly, that light to suddenly come on. So when we allow ourselves then to in our lives to recognize the spiritual opportunities that we have, then we can see when we're slugging through resistance and worry and anxiety and fear and all that stuff, that there can be a choice for peace. And that it is all part of the journey. So it's okay. It's not to make ourselves wrong for the feelings that we feel as human beings. It's just to go, okay, there, there, as they used to say, Rest for a moment in me, in the truth of who I am. Remember the peace that is here. So no matter the turmoil, whether it's going on in the world, whether you read something in the news, whether it's something in your personal life or your own health, you can just kind of, okay, I'm just going to recalibrate, right? Rest for a minute, align, take a breath, feel the earth beneath my feet. Feel the connection. And know, as World Day of Prayer's theme was this year, that no matter the circumstances, all is well with my soul. At that level, all is well, right? And we can be present to that. That allows us then to draw upon that well that is inner peace, that comes often through prayer. So that this journey, this idea of a journey to awakening the sleeping Christ or the sleeping divine within us is just it's just a process, right? That we're going through step by step, instance by instance, experience by experience. And then there may be that profound shift. So it's important that we allow peace to be patient and present, because that's what it is. That we allow it to come and to bring those gifts with us, even in the presence of great conflict. So in the Christmas story, Joseph is engaged to a now pregnant Mary. And he has a lot on his mind, as you can imagine, and a lot on his heart. He's worried about his reputation, and not just in a surface way. If you think about, if you were worried about your reputation, all the tendrils that might be connected to that, right? All the other worries that might come with that, worries about your family's well-being and your work and your ability to take care of yourself and so on, right? The mind begins to go, and we can spin into the what if and what if and what if and create more and more anxiety. So I imagine that's kind of the space that Joseph was in, that there was a space of inner turmoil and inner struggle. And he was probably attached to getting out of that as quickly as possible, as we often kind of get ourselves. But the first thing that we need to do is to recognize now, maybe when we're not in such a space of immediate turmoil, that conflict is not the enemy. That in the world, we have agreed to come in as divine human beings into this world of contrast and conflict. It's by design. So there's duality in the world so that we can remember and bring forth that underpinning oneness, that truth, these underpinning qualities like faith and peace, and bring them out into the world, right? To help us to understand, to grow spiritually. It's earth school, as some people would say, right? So recognizing that conflict is not the enemy, a true peacemaker must know that, right? If you are come to be a peacemaker, which I think all of us have, you may have grown up in a family or come in your early days through the process of thinking avoiding conflict was the way to peace. Anybody go through that process at any time in their life? Yeah, a lot of us have, right? We just think, oh, if I just make a quick left and a quick right, I can get away from this thing, or pretend it's not happening, or just smile, even though inside I'm not happy at all, right? All of that stuff that we might go through. But of course, we learn in time that we have to go through. We can't go around. That conflict is offering an opportunity and a blessing, not just a challenge. And so making friends with that, allowing ourselves to accept and embrace conflict itself is really the first step. And then to see beyond it, to see, beyond the surface situation and to trust what is possible, what might unfold as we step forward, as we allow, as we accept, as we open our arms to whatever it is that is before us. Then there's that perception of the problem. So there's just this problem, right? And it seems like all we can see and all we can think about is the problem. But, as we know, the problem cannot be solved on the level of the problem. So if we keep just looking at the problem and being confronted with that, we'll never move through it. So there has to be a willingness to recognize that there is more here than meets the eye. There are depths here. There is a beyond here. There is something to draw from here that will help me. I have tools from deep within me that will help me move through what I might be calling a problem, what I might be worrying about as a conflict, and what I might be feeling inside that might feel like struggle or resistance or division inside. So a lot of times what happens then, like with Joseph, he's going through this struggle and he wants to be relieved of the suffering, right? So a lot of times this is what we do, right? We want the quickest solution possible because we want to be relieved of our suffering. And so we'll just grab at anything or act on anything, just, oh, please, let me out of this. And a lot of times it's that kind of stepping back and being willing to recognize that the longer term haul sometimes is what's going to allow us to really unfold and unpack and experience and get that opportunity and that blessing. Not always about time, but sometimes it is. And so in Joseph's case, he immediately decides, right? He's going through this turmoil in his mind. He just wants to be relieved, and he says, "Okay, that's it. I'm leaving Mary." And so the only way that the divine can get to him is if his mind is asleep. And so it is while he sleeps that a dream comes that gives him clarity. And that clarity is, don't leave Mary. Stay with Mary. Trust the process. Be with her. Walk with her in faith. And of course, then he follows the guidance and he knows how to act. We have that sense of relief, right, when we finally get guidance, when we finally get clarity. And so if we just can trust that it comes, and remember all the times in your life when it has come, or the one time maybe that you can really remember, and draw upon the confidence and faith that you have from that experience to know that the peace is coming, that the clarity is coming as you align more and more with the divine within. As a Chinese proverb says, tension is what you think you should be, relaxation is who you are. Yeah. And so tension is what we think a circumstance should be. And relaxation is when we accept it as it is. Now, by accepting it, we're not, giving up. By accepting it, we're just giving over. We're just allowing that sense of control and rightness to be, that grasp to be opened, the heart to be opened, the mind to be relaxed, the body to be relaxed. And all of that then allows our whole system to be flooded with peace. Literally, our whole neurological system gets flooded with peace when we do that, when we just ground and breathe for a moment and say, maybe thank you, or rest, or nothing at all, just to be. So when we align with the divine, we get our right actions, we get our clarity. And if we are like Joseph and we have assumed that we might have the right answers and we stayed on the surface of the problem, it's when we have shifted that we have that experience. That when he shifted, his acceptance fell into place. When he shifted, it was clear what was his to do. And so it is for us. After a very long period in meditation, Mildred Lisette Norman had a vision on the Appalachian Trail that guided the rest of her life as a peacemaker. Beginning on New Year's Day in 1953, she set out with only the clothes on her back and a tunic with a few things in her pockets to walk. She said, "I will wander until humankind has learned the way of peace, walking until given shelter, and fasting until given food." She had no organizational backing. She had no money in her pocket or anywhere on her person. She would just speak peace wherever she went to whoever would listen. And her name became simply Peace Pilgrim. Some of you probably remember Peace Pilgrim. By the time of her transition on her 7th crossing of the United States, she had been walking and bringing peace for over 28 years and had walked over 25,000 miles. She brought peace to anyone she met, and those who didn't meet her may have received the inspiration and the peace through her words and her legacy that she left behind. Now there is an organization in her name. So just as she recognized that peace doesn't come from the outside. We might experience outer peace. She wanted world peace. She imagined us to be addressing one another and treating one another in a place of peace. She walked during the Korean War. I think when she began, it was the Korean War. She walked during the Vietnam War. But it wasn't just about war. Peace is not just about the absence of war, of course. It's about so much more, right? Unless we just interpret war as all the turmoil and conflict and difficulty and things that we've just been talking about. So it was this sense, this knowing that she had, this spiritual awakening in the vision that she received after her long experience of meditating, that she was guided to act. And she always knew about the inner peace. That's where her activism came from. She said this about inner peace. Inner peace is not found by staying on the surface of life or by attempting to escape from life through any means. Inner peace is found by facing life squarely, solving its problems, and delving as far beneath the surface as possible to discover its verities and realities. When we go beneath the surface, right, the verities and realities, whatever we call spirit, is there. Whatever we call or feel into as peace, it's there. And that's what we can draw from. That's what we can know when the going gets rough. Or even when things are going great, we can just be in that state of expansive peace and be that for others so easily and effortlessly when we are in that place. So as spiritual beings having a human experience, we get to face these everyday challenges all the time, don't we? We get to have these experiences over and over again. And if we can think of it that way, I get to, instead of I have to, or this is burdening me, if we think of it instead of this is part of my spiritual journey, this is part of what I signed up for, this is part of becoming a peacemaker, this is part of that journey to the divine truth within myself, to remember who I am, to dwell in that space, to be the light for others. When we remember our intent, the reason why we have come, it is so much easier than to participate when the going gets rough, to be with it and to know and to trust that there is something else at work here through me and as me and through this circumstance, that there is a get to, an opportunity. So not all of us are going to go, oh, goody, when we have a big challenge before us right away. But maybe we can do what Maya Angelou said so beautifully. We say, thank you. And even if it's just that sort of quiet, even somber, thank you. It begins to move our feet toward the realization of peace, to feel the peace, to experience it, to be it, to extend it. So even though our stories all differ, Marty and her family's story, Joseph's story, Peace Pilgrim's story, it all comes down to the same basic 3 steps, the way of peace. The first, to accept the circumstances just as they are, to just allow it to be just as it is, no fixing, no, gymnastics, just like, okay, this is it. This is what's before me. And then to allow spirit space to move in the situation, to give space to grace. So as we do that, that's all a part of that acceptance, to let go of that control and to give it over. As Larry Eisenberg put it, for peace of mind, resign as general manager of the universe. Pretty much says it all, doesn't it? And then once we are in that place of acceptance and allowance, then it's so much easier, right? We're already there. We're already in alignment with the divine. And it is through that alignment then that we get clarity, that we get guidance, that we receive from our innate wisdom what is ours to do. And then we just act accordingly. I know it's really simple when we just speak of it in this way, but it is simple, right? Not always easy, but it can be easy too. And the more we practice, the more ease we get, the more we are such a bright light for so many in this world that needs our light. Don't you just feel that sort of that hungering and thirsting for spirit in the world sometimes? You can almost hear, it's like when I'm speaking about it in the presence of you, I can almost feel it and hear it. And it's heartbreaking. And so we distract ourselves because we don't want to feel that, right? We don't want to feel the heartbreak of the world. We don't want to feel the turmoil in the world. We don't want to worry about our children and our children's children and what's going to happen. But we're here for a reason. We've been brought to be peacemakers. We can't shut it off. We can't close our hearts and our minds and put our fingers in our ears. We know too much. You're too much of a spiritually conscious being to shut it out. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to deliver the bad news. You're not one of those people that can just go crank up the rock music and, take some drugs and float away. It's not going to happen. We probably tried that, maybe. So you really know it won't happen, won't work. Yeah. So when we become aware, then, when we drop in, when in the company of community like this, with shared purpose, to live and expand our divinity in sacred service for all, when we remember why we've come, when we notice what we're a part of, then we go, oh, yeah, it's okay, I can do this. I have the courage. I have the faith. I have the community to support me. I can be a peacemaker. I am a peacemaker. And I will stand up for peace and keep walking even when it's difficult. Keep doing even when I'm tired. Because that refilling is always there. That well is always there to return to. I always imagine Unity of Walnut Creek being a sanctuary for the activists of the world, for people to come here and to find rest, to find peace, to find a refilling, to find a place where they are energized once again, that they can go back out into the world, that you can go back out into the world and do what is yours to do in the many arenas in which you walk and live and breathe and have your being. And to be then that essence of actual peace that people can feel and touch, and to hear through your words and the way that you interact, and to observe and to witness, they find it within themselves then. That's being a peacemaker. So, for peace, for as we go forward, I think about the prophecy of Zechariah that is so true today, even when he spoke it and sung it, actually, way back when his wife Elizabeth was pregnant. And this is how it goes. By the tender mercy of our God, the dawn from on high will break upon us to give light to those who sit in darkness and to guide our feet into the way of peace. We know the way. So let's allow ourselves to accept what is, to align with the divine, and to act accordingly. Will you speak this with me with that power and the truth and conviction and vow, like the vow that Peace Pilgrim made when she set out? Let's say it together. I accept, align, and act. Blessed are we, the peacemakers. So it is.
Thank you. Our prayer chaplains are available after this service to provide personal prayer support. If you are a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. We have a full house today. Thank you. Our prayer chaplains wear the lavender stoles.
Whether you have a joy or a concern on your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised up in consciousness.
Now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, so we shall receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature.
For your convenience, there are a variety of ways to financially give to this community. In addition to checks and cash, you may download the Give app, which is GYVE, and use the credit debit envelopes provided on the clipboard on the back of each chair, or set up bill pay through your bank. Those of you at home, you can click on the Donate button on the Watch Live page.
I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and repeat our affirmation with me. Together, divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
When I was younger, I remember at Grandma's house in late December. We'd all gather round the Christmas tree. Those times are filled with fun and laughter. It can last forever after, as the Spirit stays in you and me. And we wish you a season of harmony, wishing on a star from above. And we wish you a season of happiness, but most of all, we wish you Christmas love. Harmony brings us together. It keeps you warm in snowy weather with the song of peace and joy, a thing called love. Let's keep the dream alive whenever friends and family come together and bells ring in the peace of the dove. And we wish you a season of harmony, wishing on a star from above. And we wish you a season of happiness, but most of all, we wish you Christmas love. And we wish you a season of harmony, wishing on a star from above. And we wish you a season of happiness, but most of all, we wish you Christmas love. Yeah, most of all, we wish you Christmas love. Most of all, we wish you Christmas love. Christmas love. Christmas love. Christmas love. Christmas love. Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you. Heart Dream usually sings that at Christmas Eve, and I was going to miss hearing that this year. But they sang it for us today since they'll be up north Christmas Eve, so thank you. Well, we are so blessed with so many gifts inside, out, in our community, and beyond. And so let us bless all the gifts, these that are the financial gifts that support our ministry directly, and those of our love and service and so much more. Together, we give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is. Well, let's bless our children. They meet over there. So we can just send our blessings their way, and the teachers and youth as well. Together? Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. I invite you now to speak our prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. So it is.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God ever present. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Terry, while you were away, Susan taught us how to do the peace song and the prayer of protection. So we can communicate that with Terry now. Yeah. You are the light and the faith and the peace on earth right now. So let your light shine, have fun, and spread joy.